lots of books. I am so happy right now. Just, oh, excuse me, I may go hug them for a little while. So, hello fellow humans and welcome to the Madhouse. I'm Josh and today, oh well, there's a few things I want to talk about. Firstly, I want to, well, I'm not going to say wish everyone a happy Halloween because it's happened now, but I hope you had a good Halloween. I had a lot of fun. I didn't actually do much on Halloween night itself, but that's to be. I did put it on Sunday night though, and that was a lot of fun. I was Hades, Lord of the Dead. How are you doing? I can't do the voice, I'm afraid, but from the Disney film. You can see that here somewhere. It was a lot of fun really, and I'd happily do it again next year, but I think I want to try something different. My only issue, of course, is that I will be in Germany for Halloween, and I'm not sure what the traditions are for Halloween in Germany. I know it wasn't very popular and that it's growing recently, but I don't know to what extent it has been done. The other thing I wanted to talk about is something I'm going to celebrate a little bit. On the Vintage Books YouTube channel, they were doing a giveaway of a rather lovely set of some Virginia Woolf books. Now, Virginia Woolf is lovely, so I thought I'd give it a try. She is slightly terrifying. I believe in the comment I left on the video to win it, I said, I must admit that while I am slightly afraid of Virginia Woolf and Mrs. Dalloway, I do love Orlando. It's rather fascinating from a queer fairy perspective. Simple, short, but fun. And very true. First, if you look at it not only from a queer fairy perspective, but also from a feminist perspective, differing looks at, what's the word I'm looking for, male privilege and patriarchy. It's fascinating to look at a character who has been both and not changed due to their own choice, if that makes any sense. After that, I sent an email to William, the host, and very shortly afterwards I got this package from them, but I don't want to show my address because I've recently gotten death threats online. That's what happens when you talk to certain feminists who seem to believe that trans women are sexist men. Well, these women are wrong. Trans women are no less women than they are. But never mind, moving on. I do quite like the fact that the package says, let the unboxing commence. Well, certainly. More of an unwrapping, but I'm going to unbox it anyway. But first, it's time for a little celebration. If you're wearing headphones, I'd be very careful now. That definitely did fire, but all of it landed on the other side of the camera. There we go. Do I need my scissors? Probably not. Oh, they're so pretty. And there's a note, and I'm not going to stick my head in that again. That could be dangerous. Whoops. Book post doesn't get any prettier. Enjoy, Will. Well, that's certainly true. The stuff in here looks absolutely gorgeous. Yeah, I'm very happy right now. Oh, I love books, I love pretty books, I love classics, and I love pretty classics, and this is just all of them, and they're just, oh. Oh, I wish I could do art like that. These covers are absolutely gorgeous. Excuse me, I may just sniff them for a while. They don't quite have that vanillian smell of old books, but I don't care, they're gorgeous. Sorry, books are a very sensual experience for me. Sensual, not sexual. Check in the dictionary, there is a difference. There is The Years, which is not one I know about, but it's an absolutely gorgeous cover. I'm assuming that those are supposed to be hyacinths, because, well, that's what they look like. I like hyacinths actually, my granddad used to grow them. Oh, it's got pretty inside cover pictures too, that's good, because I don't know what they're called. It's not end papers, because I only have those in hardback, but that. It's lovely, and they've got the flaps. I mean, I love books that have the flaps like this, not because I use them as bookmarks because they're in it, but rather they have a nice feel to it. It makes it feel like a hardback, but it still has the portability of a paperback. And I prefer hardbacks myself, but sometimes it's a real bitch to fit them in your pockets or in your bag. There's a lovely quote on the back, which I shall read out to you. There must be another life, here and now. This is too short, too broken. We know nothing, even about ourselves. Now that is absolutely lovely. All those flowers and leaves and possibly berries. It is, of course, Mrs. Dalloway, the one that terrifies me so much because I've heard so many good things, but some things have to be read. You can simply not read them. And the quote on the back says, "Still, life had a way of adding day to day." It's interesting and just so pretty. Oh, and it's got an introduction from Carol Ann Duffy as well. If you don't know who she is, she's the current Poet Laureate and she's excellent, and I really recommend you read her stuff. One of her poems, The Onion, is one of my favourite. She is a lesbian poet and she is the Poet Laureate chosen by the Queen, and that's awesome. LGBT representation everywhere. Speaking of, am I under the correct impression that Virginia Woolf herself was, if not lesbian, bisexual? Because while she was married to a man, I'm fairly certain she had a female lover whose name currently escapes me. Oh, now this, ooh. I think this one is probably the prettiest one so far, but that's simply because I love this style of decoration. It is A Room of One's Own, which is probably her most famous book. I mean, it's an interesting idea. It's a look at what it means to be a woman in her time. And I've wanted to read this for such a long time. I mean, the quote on the back is, "A nun who wrote so many poems without signing them was often a woman." Which is actually a point I'd had before, because when I was first studying poetry, when I was just 6 and reading it, I thought, ooh, this nun was a good writer. They've written so much stuff, it's excellent. And then you eventually come to realise that it's not any single writer, but so many. And then you wonder, why would they not put their names towards it? Would it not have been allowed? When you look at the dates of the publishing, then you can figure out that they probably were women because of how impossible it was for women to be published if they didn't come from a really privileged background. It's interesting though. I very much look forward to this one, and ooh, pretty. Sorry. I shall try not to make orgasm noises. This one is gorgeous in such shades of blue that it even matches my hair. Well, no, my hair's going more green at the moment, but that's what happens when the dye fades. To the Lighthouse. I'm sure you've heard of this one. Let me read the blurb on the inside. Mr. and Mrs. Ramsay and their 8 children have always holidayed at their summer house in Skye, surrounded by family friends. The novel's opening section teems with the noise, complications, bruised emotions, joys and quiet tragedies of everyday family life that might go on forever. But time passes, bringing with it war and death, and the summer home stands empty until one day, many years later, the family returns to make the long-postponed visit to the lighthouse. One of the great literary achievements of the 20th century, To the Lighthouse is at once intensely autobiographical and universally moving masterpiece. I need this. And ooh, what's the inside like? Oh, now that is gorgeous. It's almost like marbling in there. Oh, I wish I were able to come up with artwork like this. I mean, I'm not that creative. I can only really draw elves and dragons. But when it comes to writing, I'm good. But I don't quite think I'm at Virginia Woolf's level. I'm not sure many people are. What I would like to see, if it were at all possible, though of course it isn't, a writing competition between Virginia Woolf and Oscar Wilde, because the two of them were the biggest egos around in their time and the best writers there. Well, I don't know, some people might suggest Ernest Hemingway was better than Woolf for the time, but that's debatable. This one is a bit unusual in the decoration. I'm not quite sure what it's supposed to represent, but it is gorgeous. It is the waves. The quote on the back being, "I am made and remade continually." I didn't know that that was a Virginia Woolf quote. It's one that I've loved for a long time, and all the more reason to hurry up with what I'm reading now so I can get on to this. I think I probably will read that one first. And last but not least, the only Virginia Woolf book I have already read, although not in such a gorgeous copy, Orlando, which is the story of a man, Orlando, who was born in Elizabethan England and then is somehow either cursed or blessed with eternal life by Elizabeth I and goes on to live through the centuries. And then halfway through his life, I say halfway through his life, not quite, but after a century or so, Orlando wakes up and finds that he has turned into a woman, that she is a woman now. And It's very interesting from a feminist perspective to look at it like that. I absolutely adore it. From a queer theory perspective as well, when you're looking at it to do with the fluidity of gender, and whether or not gender really means anything, as it's just a set of roles that one performs, and whether that it should be disregarded, or whether that means it should be even respected even more, because it's like a choice one takes. It's fascinating, and I adore this book. You have to read it if you haven't already. I'm sorry, I'm looking quite manic, but it's just... Oh, this is an absolute masterpiece. Oh, fuck it, I've got one more party popper here. Let's make it worth it. Get off. I am a child. Deal with it.